Short questions from last night. My phone froze, so I couldn't scroll, and it often does that. Facebook and Instagram are hopeless. It just freezes and nothing moves and so on. So I'm answering some questions right away here instead. And it was the question of how did I learn from the herbs and connect to them and plant spirits and so on. When I was abroad, and it was a question when I was abroad or in a foreign country. So when I was abroad, let's say that I found a beautiful plant that we didn't have, and I went into a plant garden or whatever, and I bought a picture like this, and then if there was some incense or dried, you couldn't take in fresh plants back then by the custom, so I bought something like this, and then I had a memory connected to and I smelled and touched it, and then I had it like a postcard like this. So I love these old postcards. I always, instead of photos, I prefer these that were hand-drawn by a good artist. And then it was the question about the holy table or the table of practice, and this is one version of them. This is the one from Megas. All the angels, the 7 planetary angels, Michael, Cassiel, Uriel and so on. And then we also have the triangle of art within. If you want to draw in a spirit into a crystal, you place it here. And you have, first of all, Gabriel, Uriel and Raphael in this small circle. And then you have the 7 planetary archangels surrounding it. And that is the circle and protection. And so that was that, and that's why I often, of course in the old days you also can write whatever psalm you are using for a particular working, you can write that on the table and in the circle or in the square, it doesn't really matter. But you include always the names of the angel you are working with, and I like work with sigils, so I do that. And the psalms you always write down. And you always do that for yourself. You don't copy a book and call upon an angel through that sigil. You drew the sigil by hand yourself. Since that you draw in the sigil, that is part of the work. And if you want to connect to an angel and make it an easier connection, you need to create your own. So, and that's when you learn to go from the long rituals into the short ones. As you get more and more connected to the angels, they come quickly, as you call them. But you do the work first, and they decide when they come quickly. And then there was this question about books that I wish I had, and it was Oberon. I ordered it before the pandemic, and I've managed to find the real long original version. Not the original, of course, who can afford that, but a very good version, a very thick book. It had some, I haven't read it, so it was actually that I felt the call to order it, and I asked the angels, and I should place the order, that it contains something I should know about. And I think it's related to today, since the angels usually ask me to read a book a couple of years before something happens. So it's got something to do with the times we are living in now. So if you have Oberon, please look through it carefully, and you might hint or know or sense something with your angels, what it is that is hidden in the pages. And it was one of those books that has the Shakespearean era as well, if I think. And it was England, if I remember it right. Since I haven't had the book, I couldn't read it, so I don't know so much about the book. And I don't talk about the book unless I read it, so that's a little bit of difficulty. And then it was the question of why blasphemy is so popular today, and is it powerful? And my answer to that is, blasphemy can only be powerful in the spiritual work if you had an existing true relationship with God or Christianity or Judaism or Islam beforehand. Since you are sacrificing that relation, that faith, that trust in order to the darker realms and to the other side of the spectrum. So unless you have something to sacrifice, the sacrifice is worthless. It is just like you are saying, oh, I'm going to do blasphemy on the Easter Bunny, and the demons just wonder, why are you talking about the Easter Bunny? You don't believe in the Easter Bunny. So it doesn't give you anything. It's just plain stupidity. And so this was a little bit about everything, and the knowing the old rituals and how to do it is a very good way to learn. You need a basis to build upon, so you know how it's done, and then you also know how to scale down once you've done the real thing with all the difficulties. And then you can stop down, since you do it on the astral and in the spiritual world. So you have to do it at least once the complicated way. And then you have done it, so you know you can do it. So that was about everything. And how would I call it with working with angels? I would say that the balance is found between the dark and light, and accepting the duality of the dark and light, and wisdom to use your free will without compromising others' free will. And my angels are hard upon that, upon free will. That's why I talk about it. Every time I do a ritual, there are something about free will in some part of whatever people ask me about, I always ask them, do you know, is that their free will? Or so that comes often, and that's the angels that talk about free will again. So that was all for now. Have a magical, magical day. Bye for now. And leave any comments about Oberon or other ideas if you have, or questions. Bye for now.